White neighbor calls cops on black twid not knowing their mom. Was the woman on tonight's news? The evening sun dipped low over Willow Creek Lane, casting warm gold light across the rows of identical white picket fences. It was the kind of neighborhood where people waved politely, watered their front lawns obsessively, and believed they knew everything about everyone, but they didn't. Not really. Dylan and Aiden had lived here since they were 8, now 16. They were still mistaken for friends, cousins, or those boys from down the street. Rarely twins. Almost never bros. No one ever guessed because Dylan was light-skinned, almost golden, with hazel eyes and curls that looked sun-kissed, and Aiden was darker, deeper brown, with tighter curls and a quiet seriousness that made people stare too long. But their hearts beat the same rhythm. They finished each other's sentences. They had matching birthmarks on their ankles. They were twins. Nature didn't care about shades of skin. That afternoon, they were doing what brothers do, laughing, teasing, playing basketball on their driveway to blow off steam before dinner. Aiden dribbled before pulling a clean jumper. The ball swooshed effortlessly. Dylan groaned. "You're cheating. I swear you're cheating." Aiden extended his arms. "My guy, it's called talent. You should try it sometime." They both laughed, loud and unrestrained, a sound that felt free. A window slid open across the street. A pair of narrowed blue eyes peeked out Mrs. Brighton. Everyone knew her. Widow nose, always in other people's business. A woman who warned the neighborhood Facebook group whenever a teenager walked by wearing a hooded sweatshirt. She watched the boys for a long, uncomfortable moment before her expression hardened. She stepped back inside. Aiden didn't notice, but Dylan did. "Great," he whispered. Mrs. Brighton activated surveillance mode. Aiden chuckled. "What's she gonna do?" Called he didn't finish, because minutes later, her voice echoed from across the street. "You, stop right there. Step away from that house." Aiden turned, confused. "Is she yelling at us?" Dylan stepped in front of him. "No, she's yelling at you." Mrs. Brighton marched over like she was storming a battlefield, phone already in hand. "I've never seen you here," she said to Aiden, not once glancing at Dylan. "This is private property." Aiden blinked. "Ma'am, this is my house." "No, it's not," she snapped. "Don't lie to me. I've lived here 23 years. I know who belongs." Dylan felt anger push hot behind his forehead. "Mrs. Brighton, he lives here. We're brothers." Her eyes widened with offense. "Brothers. Don't be absurd." Aiden inhaled slowly, staying calm the way his mother taught him. "We are twins, ma'am." Mrs. Brighton let out an exaggerated laugh. "Now that is ridiculous. I'm calling the police immediately." "Wait," Dylan shouted. But she already dialed. "Yes. Hello," she said, dramatically turning her back toward them. "I'd like to report a suspicious black male wandering around a house that isn't his." "Yes, he's refusing to leave." Aiden felt something cold settle in his chest. "I didn't refuse to leave. I'm literally home." Dylan clenched his fists. "This is insane." "You boys stay put," Mrs. Brighton warned, as if she were the authority here. 10 minutes passed in stiff silence before red and blue lights splashed across the street. 2 police cruisers rolled up, doors opening in unison, hands where we can see them. One officer ordered. Aiden froze. Dylan stepped forward. "Officers." He back up. The second officer said sharply. "All right," Aiden whispered, raising his hands carefully. Neighbors peeked out from windows, drawn to the flashing lights like moths to flame. The whole street watched up. Mrs. Brighton pointed theatrically. "That's him. I caught him trespassing." The first officer looked between the boys. "You two know each other?" Aiden nodded. "We live here. Together." Dylan pulled up his sleeve. "We're twins. Identical birthmarks? Want to see?" Mrs. Brighton scoffed loudly. "This is absurd. Twins don't look like that." Aiden swallowed hard. He didn't want to cry, but humiliation pressed down on his lungs. Then, suddenly a sleek black SUV turned onto the street. It wasn't from the neighborhood. It wasn't subtle. It looked like something important was inside. It pulled right into the Hayes driveway. The back door opened, and the boy's mother stepped out. Dr. Maya Hayes. People knew her name, but not here. Not in this suburban bubble. They only saw her as the single mom with the twins. But tonight, America knew her as something more. Because just 1 hour earlier, her interview aired on national television. The surgeon who performed an impossible, groundbreaking pediatric operation. The woman being honored as American Hero of the Year. The one appearing in another live segment. Tonight she walked toward the officers with the calm, focused authority of someone who saved lives for a living. "Excuse me," she said. "Why are you surrounding my children?" Mrs. Brighton gasped so loudly it echoed. "Your children?" Dr. Hayes stepped between the boys and the officers. "Yes, my sons. Is there a problem?" The officers exchanged uneasy glances. "Ma'am, we received a report of a trespasser." Dr. Hayes' eyes sharpened like a scalpel. "A trespasser? Playing basketball? On his own driveway?" Silence. Mrs. Brighton cleared her throat, stuttering. "I don't know. He looks different." "From whom?" Dr. Hayes asked. Mrs. Brighton hesitated. "From you?" Dr. Hayes tilted her head. "That's interesting, because both my sons have my smile, my eyes, my stubbornness, and my DNA." Mrs. Brighton's face drained of color. I thought I was protecting the neighborhood." "You were protecting your assumptions," Dr. Hayes said softly, "and they nearly hurt my child." Aiden's voice cracked. Mom, I didn't even do anything. Dr. Hayes pulled him into her arms, holding him firmly. You don't have to do anything to be targeted, sweetheart. That's the world we're trying to change. The officer sighed, uncomfortable. Dr. Hayes, we're sorry for the misunderstanding. She nodded once. Thank you. You may leave now. As the cruisers pulled away, Mrs. Brighton stood trembling in guilt, the entire street watching the consequences of her fear. I didn't know you were that doctor, she whispered. Dr. Hayes shook her head. That shouldn't matter. My son deserved respect before you saw me on TV. Tears filled the woman's eyes. I'm so sorry. Truly. Dr. Hayes didn't yell. She didn't humiliate her. She simply said, I hope this teaches you to see people, not assumptions. Back inside, the boys sat on the couch while the TV replayed the broadcast of their mother speaking confidently to millions. As a surgeon, I mend bodies, she said on screen. As a mother, I fight to mend a world that still has wounds we refuse to acknowledge. Aiden leaned quietly against her. I just want to be treated like I belong, he whispered. You do? She said gently. And anyone who can't see that needs healing of their own. Dylan nudged his brother. You're stuck with me anyway. Aiden finally smiled. Wouldn't trade it for anything. Their mother wrapped an arm around each of them. Outside Willow Creek Lane was unusually silent. Respect had been demanded, truth had been revealed, a heart had been humbled, and a family woven together by love stronger than any prejudice stood. Unbreakable. Moral: never assume someone's worth by the color of their skin, the house they stand in front of, or the story you imagine about them. True character is revealed not by appearance, but by the humanity we show one another. And sometimes, one moment of courage can rewrite a lifetime of ignorance.